I have a little story that I want to share with you. I was on a call with my coach last night, and she said to me, "You're holding something back. There's something that you're holding on to, and you need to share it. What is it?" And I started talking a little bit about it, and I started crying. And she said, "There's a lot of shame here, Jen. It's around money. You need to let this out. You are a money mentor. You love talking about money. You can't do that without sharing this story." And I realized that she was right. And so this morning I spent about 45 minutes in my journal really getting carpal tunnel and writing all of my thoughts out about my story around money and the shame that I have. My shame comes from the fact that I have been very fortunate, in my opinion, that my parents have been able to support me as much as they have. When I was in high school, I decided to become a swimmer. And I was swimming a lot. My sophomore and junior year of high school, I was swimming 6 days a week with a YMCA team. And then the end of my junior year and my senior year of high school, I was swimming 25 hours a week, training 25 hours a week with a club team. And my parents said, "This is your job. If you were not swimming, you would have a job, but this is your job. And we support that." I did work for my mom whenever I had opportunities, whenever I wanted to make money. I was able to work in my mom's quilt shop, but they really supported me. My parents paid for my college. I went to the University of New Hampshire and I was admitted early decision on the Friday before Christmas. On the following Monday, I received a letter that I was going to receive a scholarship, an academic scholarship that would bring me to the in-state tuition level. Upon graduation, my parents gifted me that money back. I did not expect it. I was not planning for it, but they did. I used that money to purchase my first condo, along with the money that I'd been saving my whole childhood. My parents have also supported my IRA until about 10 years ago. They would give me a certain amount of money on my birthday every year, and I was expected to meet the contribution limit. So they gave me some, and I had to match the rest. I realized I was holding on to these stories because I wasn't being a fully self-made woman. I don't know why that felt so shameful to me, but somehow in there, I was saying that my parents' stories were getting tied up in my stories, and I wasn't being honest with who I am. I realized this morning that a lot of the stories that I still hold around money, I thought I got from my parents, but were actually lessons that I learned when I was a very small child that I modified and held on to, even long after my parents showed me that that wasn't how they lived. Things like don't spend money, period. Don't go out to eat. Don't travel. Don't go into debt. Don't be like other people. Don't show off your money. Don't live in excess. Now, my parents spent money, a lot of it on me. They spent money on clothes that I liked. I really liked Abercrombie and Fitch back in the late 90s. It was a very like classic clothing, sweaters and button downs. They spent a lot of money on my swimming. They spent money on my college. They've spent money on lots of things. Don't go out to eat. For a lot of my teenage years, all of my teenage years, probably every Saturday night we went out to eat because my mom would usually work a nearly 12-hour day and would be exhausted. She couldn't cook. My parents have since decided they don't like going out to eat. They like what my mom makes better, so they don't do that. But that was something that I held on to. Don't travel. My parents took me to Disney World every other year while I was a kid, and the opposite year we would go on a different type of vacation. I just learned 2 weeks ago that my mom always planned Disney World and my dad always planned the other vacation. I never knew my dad planned anything. I literally never knew that. Don't go into debt. My parents have had mortgages and car payments, and they taught me how to do that. They taught me how to be responsible with it. But I always thought I wasn't supposed to go into debt. Don't be like other people. Don't have vacation homes. Don't spend money on boats or jet skis or other things that they didn't have. Don't show it off. One of my mom's favorite stories is going to my aunt's house, and my aunt's sister-in-law came in and said, "Whose Porsche is sitting out in the driveway?" Clearly in a jealous tone. And my mom happened to have the key in her pocket because somehow my dad didn't have pockets or something. And she said, "Oh, that's Jim's. I gave it to him for his 70th birthday." And her husband elbowed her and said, "I didn't get a Porsche for my birthday." don't live in excess. My dad didn't need that Porsche. My parents have had nice cars for as long as I can remember, pretty much. Since I was about 10 years old, my dad has had a Lexus. My mom had an Infiniti and then a Lexus. They've had nice things. But somehow I held on to the stories of my childhood. And now I am working alongside all of you to release the stories that I have been holding on to because they are not serving me. They're not serving me anymore. I watch my parents now in a very different stage of life. And my mom has a very strong personality. I love her to bits and pieces, but her values hold full on. She could never leave her 16-acre property and be just fine. She loves being there, but she also does not mind that I love to travel. That's okay, but I have still struggled with that. I used to think that I had to keep secrets from her when we would go out to dinner because she always has worried that we wouldn't have enough money because that's who she is, because she cares about us. Well, guess what? I have a 4.5-year-old and he doesn't let me keep secrets like that anymore. Mama or Grandma, we went to pizza last night. Well, there goes that secret. I have had to learn how to rewrite my own rules. And just today, I learned that I was holding on to a handful of stories that don't serve me anymore. And so I get to take the time and the opportunity to rewrite all of those. And I'm sharing this with you today because authenticity and connection are two of my highest values. I treasure being who I am. This is about the most makeup that you will ever see me wear, the most product that I'll ever have in my hair. I enjoy being the person that I am. I enjoy being an athlete. I enjoy being sweaty and wet in the pool and full of chlorine. I enjoy who I am as a person. And being able to share this story is part of me being authentic with all of you. So I'd like for you to use it and think about the ways that you're holding on to stories that maybe you didn't even realize you were holding on to, things that have come up from your childhood. And maybe this is an opportunity for you to look back and reflect and see what those things are.